Yesterday began with dropping our friend off at the airport. I mean, technically it began spending time with him here, but that was brief. We got to show him a Gouda kit, and we were blessed to have his help putting marijuana cream all over our back. Which was so nice to be able to get all the parts of the back without feeling like I'm dislocating my shoulder. And my mom made us hot drinks, and we showered and got ready, and I fed the cats and had breakfast and got ready. And I was preparing for a full day at the conference, and he was preparing to fly back home for a work event that night. And the morning before that was really cool, because we got to have a cacao ceremony. We did some chanting together, and I said a prayer in a light language, and we blew some wish seeds, and that was very magical. Yesterday was a really good day until the middle of the afternoon where it got a bit rough. My friend paid for a thing they had there where you lay down and there's a light overhead and it flashes. But the science of it was in a way that produces shapes and colors in your consciousness. I thought that sounds really cool. And a woman we had stood with in line at lunch yesterday, or 2 days ago, had said that it was just like amazing. Like she was not prepared for it, and she did it a couple times, and it was just like amazing. And she's not much of a visual person, but the visuals were there; they were vivid, and it seemed like, all right, maybe we stood with this person for a reason. Like we feel called to go try this experience, and so I kind of trusted it without checking in with my gut. And I probably should have checked in with my gut to see what was being felt. But I trusted my head and went with the flow without asserting myself through intuition. And it led to a severe dissociative episode. I did like a 2-minute test and then a 5-minute test to just kind of see how it was. And I wasn't really noticing shapes or colors, but I thought maybe it just takes a little while to get into the experience. Like maybe it's not an immediate thing. And so instead of speaking up, I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. And I should have spoken up and been honest, but I felt embarrassed. I felt shy and ashamed. I felt this desire to have this experience that everyone else was having, and I felt like I wanted to just do what my friend was doing so I didn't disrupt his experience. But all of that was unconscious programming, not my authentic self. But I didn't recognize it as such at the time, not clearly. And so I wasn't honest with what was going on. I wasn't like, hey, I'm not really seeing anything. I don't know if I want to do this. I felt like I needed to do it because my friend bothered paying for it. So just kind of a lot of obligation and submissiveness and codependency and um, not speaking my truth because of feelings, basically. And so we dove into this 30-minute experience, and by the time I realized I really don't want to do this, I couldn't move my body to signal that I wanted to stop. You're supposed to put your hand over your face if it became too much and you wanted to, come up from it. And so we weren't able to move our hand. We weren't able to even feel our hand existing. The mind-body disconnect had become so severe. And so we're laying there, and it's all very scary and intense. And the flashes of light, instead of producing visualizations in my consciousness, were just activating dissociative states, physically disconnecting my brain body system beyond my awareness and control. So I couldn't move my body, I couldn't bring feeling or presence to my body. And I could feel my chest tightening, I could feel my face muscles tightening in a very painful way. I could feel my gut tightening. It felt like someone had a fist inside and was just jabbing me with it. And I noticed it was, vagus nerve related and other things going on too. And so I know we're hopefully getting our vagus nerve adjusted this afternoon. It should help. I know it is cold with the window open. You guys want to shut it? This one seems to be bringing in warmth because it's where the sunshine is. Yeah, we can totally get some snacks after this. That sounds golden. Super gravy, baby. Super McDoopstar duper gravy, baby. In the meantime, you guys want some slippers? Oh, warm them toesies, exactly. Warm the toesies. Toesy woesies. I know, these are slippers from back when Bambi was hanging out. It was pretty fun. I know. Some woman paused in the bathroom to ask if we need help when we were putting in our little elephant who hung out in our on our shoulder all day. And she's like, I used to go skiing with my stuffed bear or something like that. Stuffed something. Alright, how's that? Yeah, you thirsty? I think either water works, honestly. Yeah, they're both water. We'll get sex soon. I want to make sure that things get processed, my friend, because you're worthy of that. And so I realized that we had a choice whether to let this experience be filled with terror or filled with calm. And so we worked the whole time together to create safety inside of us, even though we couldn't get there outside of us. And we rode the waves of dissociation and complete terror as our body dissociated more and more and more. And our mind was so disconnected that there were only fragments of thoughts remaining. My sense of self was dissolving, my sense of presence was dissolving, my understanding of past being past and future being future was dissolving. My understanding of where I was dissolving. My understanding of what was possible was dissolving. I was dissolving, it felt like. And so, with the light flashing, it's just a white light, there was nothing. There was a couple shapes moving, but if anything, we were just trying to see shapes. And so we went to Janet's Void on TV show The Good Place season 3. It was the only imaginative scene we could match with what we were experiencing. And we tried to pretend that we were in Janet's Void, having a dance party with a strobe light to try and incorporate our external and internal realities through imagination. And it worked for a few moments, but it was not sustainable. And those moments were really good. Just that little wave of relief when everything is complete hell. Feels like complete hell. And so we kept coming back and trying to move our hand. We just couldn't quite do it. And finally, we were able to move our hand over our face. Little did I realize that it was at the end of the 30 minutes. And by that time, it was too late. The damage had been done. And our entire body-brain system was collapsed into itself. I'm really proud of us because we were able to be honest about it. To some degree, anyway. I don't really remember. But I remember thinking, we'll just pretend, we'll just say it was cool, we'll just, not make a big fuss, we won't make people feel bad, we won't be honest with our experience, so that other people don't have to feel uncomfortable. And thankfully, we did not listen to that voice. and we were honest that it was not a good experience and we were just dissociating the entire time and we couldn't move our body to signal that we wanted to stop. And the woman who hosted the session was compassionate and understanding and grateful. And I suggested that they add on the paper that you sign beforehand that it is highly discouraged from doing the experience if you experience chronic dissociation. And she thanked me for that. And we talked for a little while, and I was able to tell her about some of my work and how there's people all over the world experiencing chronic dissociation. And she was like so surprised to hear that. People really don't talk about dissociation. And I talk about it every day now, so it's like, you know, a reminder of where I come from. Growing up, there was no talk of dissociation. All through college, there was no talk of dissociation. After college, there was no talk of dissociation. And yet, that's what I was experiencing all of those fucking years. So it's time to talk about dissociation on a global scale. And so we told her about some of our work with Compassionately Evolved Consciousness. And she was so intrigued and so inspired and so proud of us. I felt very moved by the work that I'm doing. So we gave her the links to our Facebooks, our group, and our page. And hopefully she'll be joining us. She said she'd see us there. I forget her name though. I want to say Melissa, but that could just be my brain crossing wires of associations. I don't know. It could have been Melissa. And so after that, things just kind of got worse. My ability to move my body seemed constrained. My ability to access my short term memory was not there. My ability to exist in time and space was not there. My experience to exist as a person was not there. My self recognition had gone away. It was difficult to lift my legs. It was difficult to move my facial muscles. It was difficult to speak. Another thing I remember from the experience was distant thumping. Like I was trying hard to bring my focus into the experience because there were singing bowls going on too. And that was the best part. Being able to shift my focus away from the lights and away from my bodily sensations of total terror. I was able to focus my auditory processing on the music bowls, singing bowls. And that was beautiful. Those moments were beautiful. And I'm very thankful that there were singing bowls in the experience. But there was some kind of distant thumping, like bass music, kind of a sensation where you just hear the thumping whir, not the actual music. I don't know what it was from, but I remember that being the start of the terror. Like, if there weren't that, maybe this could be okay. So maybe this was a dorsal vagus collapse, a total brain body disconnect. I don't actually know, but I'd like to discover the neurophysiology of the experience so that we can use this experience to further our work and not just have it be what it is right now. Everything is allowed to serve a purpose. And I'd like to include this type of experience in our spectrum of dissociative experiences. That we're creating. So I don't remember the moments following. Once we left the room, and I said goodbye to the woman who might have been named Melissa, and to Ian, the guy we had hung out with beforehand, which was awesome. That was a really awesome experience. It's hard to get it back because it's a little lost in the terror of what happened after, but that was a really good experience. He was awesome, hilarious, fun, kind. He showed us some really cool stuff. We got to drink this water that's infused with healing energy, and I could feel it. Like, it felt really good. It felt really, really good. And he could tell the depth of attunement I had with energy, and he loved it. And that was like so validating and so uplifting for my sensitivity to be appreciated and recognized and seen and understood. That was profound. And he showed us some cool little machines that like work on your chakras through like vibrational emission or something. It was really trippy and cool. I really enjoyed the water. We had several little shot glasses full. I really enjoyed that interaction. We did. We really enjoyed that interaction. Once we had left the room and said goodbye to the woman who might have been named Melissa and to Ian, the man with the energetically infused water and strange sound contraptions, my memory stopped processing information. And I don't remember what happened next, but I know that we ended up in a park. I vaguely recall wanting to. Oh, I vaguely recall going down into the parking garage to get a sip of energy drink upon my friend's suggestion. And wanting to stay down there. I wanted to stay in the van. I wanted to be in a dark, cold, safe, familiar space. That was all I wanted. And he said, "No, let's go to the park. Trust me." And a part of me felt like we shouldn't trust him because he had led us into that experience. But a part of me understood that he did not, he had no way of knowing that that would happen. And he was there helping care for me instead of being in the conference. And he was trustworthy overall, and that was the voice to listen to. And so we trusted him a bit reluctantly, but we did. The other part about this experience was that the two sessions that I was looking forward most to in the whole day of dozens and dozens of sessions were right at this time. And that felt so heartbreaking because I felt like I was really missing something good. And like this was just hell repeating itself, where I'm missing out on these opportunities I deeply desire and feel worthy of, but life proves me wrong and has me in this place of suffering. And that was a tough underlying message to feel and try and process through or let go of or disidentify with. I felt very devastated that whole day. I'd been really looking forward to these sessions, and it wasn't just a, oh, it should be cool. It was a passionate excitement to attend, which wasn't happening with a lot of other sessions. So I missed something, and that kind of activated the unconscious messages about how life just goes on and all these beautiful opportunities just slip by me while I'm in a dissociative state of inexplicable suffering and no one can help me. So that was hard and painful and scary and lonely, and it made me feel very angry. And so went to a park, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to help myself while my friend was still there. So I explained. I just, oh, and I don't really remember walking from the van to the park. So it seems that my memory system was shut down when I was moving. When I was physically moving, that's when my memory system seems to shut down in this dissociative state that we experienced 2 days ago. Um, yeah, I don't remember moving from the room of the event to outside to the van, but I remember being still and sitting in the van. And I don't remember moving from the van to the park, but once I sat down, my memory system picked up again. That's powerful. That's a powerful clue. It's a very powerful clue. And so I remember picking a spot in the sun to try and feel my skin again. And there was no one in the immediate vicinity. There were people kind of off on the path rollerblading and walking and things like that, but there was no one super, super close. I felt like I was able to be safe even though I was in the open. I didn't physically feel safe, but I knew that it was allowed and that we were safe even though we didn't feel safe. Because really just being exposed to the world felt very unsafe. Like I really wanted to be in a dark, private, hidden, cold, familiar space. And so we sat in the sun and I told him I need to make a video. I need to talk myself through this. I need to give voice to what's happening. I don't even know how well I communicated that to my friend, but it was enough for him to understand that I would stay there with my stuff and he would go inside to the conference. and I would come in and find him when I was done. Or he would come out and find me if I hadn't come in yet when he was done. Because I didn't have a phone, so we couldn't like, call each other. No, phone in service. I mean. So I sat out there, and once he walked away, I don't even remember him walking away, but apparently he walked away because he wasn't there anymore. Um, yeah, that's interesting how I don't remember him walking away, but I remember understanding he wasn't there anymore. That's very different because normally when someone walks away, we kind of watch them and kind of stay present with this relational sensation of their existence for a few extra moments before returning to our own self. And maybe we did that and it just didn't get processed in our system. But I don't remember him walking away. I just remember him not being there anymore. That's another clue. Yeah, I'm really proud of you guys. Thanks for being willing to talk through this with me. I know it's scary, but we're feeling funny stuff. I'm really proud of you. You're welcome. You're so welcome. It's nice to be connected with our body. It's nice to recognize that this face is mine and that it's associated with my experience internally and externally. It's a very nice feeling to be connected with myself. It's a very nice feeling for us to be connected with ourselves. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, we can have a cracker. We have breakfast soon. Mmm, those are good. Hmm. Yeah, we can pause for some snacks soon. I just want to do some more because we're on a roll. Mm. Mm. You know, right? It's the good stuff, right? You're fun. And so we recorded a video for 45 minutes, which is amazing. And we were able to do that. Truly miraculous, truly courageous, truly inspiring, truly profound. We were able. I haven't watched it yet, and I don't really remember the entirety of it. Like I definitely was not aware of a sense of time. I did not. We did not. A part of me did not. I did not, we did not exist within time and space during that. And so the passage of time is non-existent because I didn't exist in time to begin with. Um, there is no presence of time, thus there is no passage of time. And so we recorded and tried to give voice to what we were experiencing and tried to create coping tools for future stuff. How can I or someone in a dissociative experience be there for themselves on the inside? And how can someone on the outside be there? Because my friend was trying to help and he was trying to ask questions and trying to whatever, and I couldn't engage. And so we tried to create some tools with the knowledge we had from within the experience. We can't make these tools on the outside because we don't know what happens there. It's a separate state of consciousness. So we were able to give voice to a lot of the experiences we were in. And we were able, yeah, we will. We were able to create tools that we'll come back to and use in our work. So we recorded for 45 minutes, and the main reason we stopped recording, I recall, was because we were having a hard time staying focused because someone was watching us. And I remember being able to respond to the automated conclusions, which was new. Like in that dissociative episode, we hadn't fully had that ability yet. So our conscious presence was somewhat increasing, although gradual. But I remember knowing he was there watching. It was some guy just sitting on a little hillside, like right by the area we were sitting in, and he was smoking a cigar. And him sitting there, we ignored for a while and just stayed focused, which was awesome. I'm so grateful and proud of us for being able to just prioritize what we needed, regardless of what was going on around us. It's powerful. There's power in that. Even when we don't have control, there's power in that. Um, Vagus nerve stuff. I think that's where burping comes from. It's all the gut digestive stuff. I always associate burping with that for some reason. I don't know if that's true or not scientifically. But it's valid either way. Um, and so he was there. Uh, um, and we were packing up, and we were intentional to not rush off immediately. Like, normally, back in the day, if we noticed someone watching us or whatever, it was like, stop what you're doing, grab your stuff, and get out of there as quickly as you can. Kind of an internal sensation. But I remember being mindful and calm and present and focusing on our breath as we stopped recording and very slowly packed up our things, kind of oriented ourselves in our surroundings as best we could. And in doing that, we created space. And from his little spot sitting up on the hill. Oh, yeah, and another reason, the main reason we stopped was the smell of the cigar. We were able to let it go that he was sitting there, but then the smell of the cigar was really bringing up stuff. Um, Dissociative memory fragments were more likely to come up in this dissociative state, like the ability to smell a smell and let go of past associations in order to be fully present regardless of the smell was gone, and sensations activated fragments in a way that they were projected into reality since reality did not exist. This is another big clue. And so the smell was too much, and that's the main reason we had stopped. And so he asked from his little spot on the hillside, "Oh, you're recording I don't know what he said, but he asked if we were recording a something, and I was like, maybe like a video blog or something." And I took it as an opportunity, and I approached him. I didn't go all the way up to where he was sitting, but I walked about halfway between where we were and where he was. So I'm bridging the gap while sustaining energetic boundaries. So that was really good. I'm really proud of us. And so we explained, yeah, like we were having a dissociative episode, and we wanted to, um, learn what we could from it. And I don't know what we said exactly, but we explained some of our work and how we work with dissociation. And I don't even remember what we said actually, but we shared something about our work very honestly, and he was like really impressed by it, and thought it was really cool. I was proud of us or something. I don't remember what he said, but I remember it was a positive interaction overall. I don't remember the specific words that were said during any of this time, but I remember it was a positive interaction. So that's good. And then as we slowly walked, so we were still pretty physically drained, as we slowly walked back towards the conference, we tried to just orient ourselves in our surroundings, which we couldn't do before. And the world still didn't feel completely three-dimensional, but it was not the flat space that it was before. So it was improved, but we weren't totally back. And as we walked towards the conference area, though, feeling pretty proud of ourselves for doing what we had done, recording that video, doing what we needed to do, process through, and taking every moment as an opportunity, being open to interaction even when we were barely existing in reality. We walked back towards the conference, and it was the perfect timing because our friend was walking towards us. So it was absolutely perfect. And it turns out he had gone to a different lecture than he was planning to. So even if we had finished sooner and gone to find him, we wouldn't have been able to. So the timing was just really beautiful, really synchronistic, really divinely guided, for us to both be kind of walking out at the same time and just find each other like that. That was really beautiful, and I'm grateful that there wasn't any stress around that experience. Um, and then jumping back though, yesterday morning, or no, 2 days ago morning, the day that I've been describing 2 days ago. In the morning, we went to an amazing, amazing session about cerebral spinal fluid. And I'm actually only starting to remember that because of how we've processed through the other stuff that happened that day. So, hurrah. Um, that seminar was everything. It was everything and more. It brought all parts together spiritually, scientifically, ugh, emotionally, intellectually. It brought the whole thing full circle. The gift of cerebral spinal fluid movement is one of the unconscious, or the one of the gift of unconscious miracles, gifts of unconscious miracles. Um, we're excited about that one. Another really cool thing, there was a mime that morning as well, and this was on Saturday. There was a mime, and he did this performance about parents and the baby, and it was really profound, and Yeah, just profound. Anyway, I'm gonna go get some breakfast, but we will hopefully do some more processing videos later.